What is up, everybody? Isaac here with Civil Engineering Academy. Excited to be with you on another podcast episode. Today we're going to talk about how to make time to study for the Civil FE or PE exam. This is a topic and a question I get often from students or those that are busy parents, really how to make time to study for these massive exams. And I get it. We all have a certain amount of time in a day, and sometimes that's very difficult to find time to do this. But hopefully with today's tips that I share with you, that you'll be able to find time in your day in order to pass this exam. So it's going to be a good one. If you're preparing for your FE or PE exam, then you're going to want to pay attention to this because there's going to be good stuff here. So with that, it's going to be coming up right up after this. All right, let's get right into it. So how can we make time to study for the Civil FE and PE exam? So my very first tip for you is to get your family, friends, and coworkers or colleagues all on board with what you are doing. And what this means is look, life is going to move forward, right? Everybody's moving forward with their life, routines, work schedules, taking care of kids. All of this stuff is going to continue to happen. So until we take a step back and pause and we let these people know that we are going to prepare for this massive exam and we tell them the benefits of that. Your boss obviously knows the benefits of you getting your PE or FE exam done. Your family should know as well, and you can explain those benefits to them. This is a massive milestone in your life, and it's going to be a springboard to the rest of your career, and it's really going to help launch it. So the more that they know, the more that they're involved with this, the more time that they will give you to prepare for this exam. So oftentimes, if you're at work and you do tell your boss about this, oftentimes they will allow you to find the time to study at work for some of these exams, or at the very least have your books open on your desk so when you do have a free moment, they know what you're preparing for and it doesn't look like you're not doing anything. So and then with your family, once they know they're on board, then a lot of other things can shake out of that schedule. So if you have kids, maybe there's an extra time that your spouse can watch the kids for an extra hour after work so you can prepare for this. And I know that's very difficult, but the thing here is that this is a sacrifice for everybody, right? It's not only a sacrifice for you as the person studying for this thing because your life's going to be put on hold for quite some time, but it's a sacrifice for your spouse or others that are helping you along with this journey as well. So keep that in mind. If we're trying to make time to study for this, we need to let others that we are close with, including our colleagues or our boss and our family, all on board with what this major milestone is in our life. So keep that in mind as you are trying to make time to study for either your FE or your PE exam. All right, tip number 2 that I have for you is that you need to get a schedule and start putting that thing on a calendar. I don't care if it's an electronic calendar or a physical calendar, however you work and function. It's important to get a schedule and put that on a calendar. So what does that actually mean? So what that actually means is that you need to take a good hard look at the specifications. If you're taking the FE exam, go look at that spec. If you're taking the PE exam, go get your spec that you have. Go look at every topic that you have and start hammering out weeks that you will study that particular section and put that on the calendar, okay? Once you've got that down and you've figured out kind of how many weeks that you need, obviously if there's the specification has a topic that goes into a lot more detail on a particular subject, you're going to want maybe 2 weeks in that area. If you're taking the PE exam and you're taking water resources, you're going to want to block out extra time for your specific depth section. Even though it's kind of the new spec is all blurred into one spec, there really is still breadth kind of questions and depth kind of questions. The first 8 sections are the same among all the specifications. And the same thing with the FE. Take a good hard look at that and start blocking out items on your calendar, weeks at your calendar of the areas that you're going to study. And that's really how you start forming a schedule. The next step of that is to actually go into your schedule, go into your calendar, and start looking where you have fringe hours where you can block off time or make time and start filling those hours in with study time. Your time is very important. Your time is, we all have 24 hours in a day. And so you got to get in there, fill out the spots so you can make the time to study for this, and everybody's on board. If you need to share that with your family, your friends, your spouse, or whatever, share that calendar with them and let them know when you are studying for this exam, because it's a doozy. The FE and the PE are both doozies, and so you want to make sure you do that. So take a look at the spec, get each topic on the calendar for how many weeks you think you're going to need to study. If you've been out of school for a long time, you're going to need more time. If you've been in school and you're going to take the FE, then you're going to probably need less time. So it really is up to you as the student. Same applies to the PE. If you've been in school and you're taking that right after the FE, you probably need less time. If you're taking the PE and you've been out of school forever, maybe you want to lean towards like a 6-month time frame where you're really hammering these topics out, giving yourself flexibility in your schedule to study those things. So getting a schedule, start putting it on the calendar, is an extremely important tip to help you make time to study. You'll be surprised at the hours that you can find to help prepare you for this exam. So take that tip as it's worth, and you'll start finding some hours in your day to really start blocking off, putting your specification on the calendar for which weeks you're going to study, and then finding the hours in your day to really plug and chug. So go fill that out. It works wonders when you actually see something on a calendar and can make the progress to really study during those times that you block off. So anyway, remember that. That's a good one. All right, the third thing that I have for you is that you need to determine your weak points. So after you've looked at the specification and you've blocked out some time on your calendar, you know what you are probably good at, or at least better on, and you probably know which areas you suck at. So by knowing that, and you know where your weak points are, this ties into that other thing. Once you know your weak points, we can add additional time to help prepare you to really do well on those weak points, because you will need to get an answer on every single problem that they throw at you. Don't think that because you suck in a particular area that you don't need to study it. Even if it's a smaller area, you should definitely give yourself a chance to prepare for this exam by giving yourself the best possible chance, and that's preparing for all problem types that they give you. So even if you suck at a particular area, let's say you're taking the FE in math, there's some parts in math that you struggle with, make sure you determine those weak points and give yourself additional time. So this ties into also scheduling your exam and when you're going to take it, as all exams now are CBT exams. So they're computer-based testing, and you've got to schedule that thing. So make sure you've built some time in your schedule when you plan on taking this exam to allow for that flexibility. And you know yourself, you know which areas you're good at, you know which areas you're weak at, and make sure you've prepared for that. Now, to go along with that, some people might think, geez, if I'm really weak in this area, now I've got to crank this up. I got to study 8 hours a day, which really isn't a reality for people. You're busy, you have work, you have stuff going on. Most people that study and prepare for the FE and PE exam are putting in 1 to 2 hours during the week and more on the weekends. If you're preparing for the PE, most people put 8 to 10 hours on the weekends because they have the time to do it. And FE is probably less than that, maybe half. So that gives you an idea of what typically people schedule their time around and how many hours that they typically need to prepare for the exam. And that's exactly what I did when I was preparing. In fact, these tips that I'm sharing with you are things that I did personally. I remember when I was taking the FE exam at my workplace, I was an intern still. And when I told them I was preparing for the FE, they allowed me to study there. They allowed me to do things to help me get to the point where I can prepare for the exam. So it's been, these are tips that I have taken personally and done in my own life. So definitely do that. All right, so that's really it, everybody. Those are the 3 tips that I have for you to help you make or find more time in your day to help you prepare for the FE or PE exam. Those tips are, things that you can carry with you to help you as you start this journey, no matter where you're at, whether it's your first time or your 7th time taking this exam. Those tips will always help you. So make the most of it, prepare, get a good schedule together, make sure everybody's on board with it, and I promise that you will be well ahead of the game in preparing to pass these exams. And so if you really want to accelerate that and you want to do it even faster, I always recommend taking our courses. We have the Ultimate Civil FE Review course and the Ultimate Civil PE Review course. Go check those out. You can find them at civilengineeringacademy.com. And if you feel like you just want to go at it alone, that's fine too. We have tons of practice exams that you can check out as well at civilengineeringacademy.com. And we have a full CBT exam simulator for the FE. We're working on one for the PE, but it's all there to help you ace your exam. So if you have any questions about this, definitely hit me up on an email, isaac@civilengineeringacademy.com. I'm happy to help you on this journey to pass, and hopefully these tips helped you. So thanks for being here, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.